and always. If you are asking to do something, even if it's the best answer you could ever come up with and it's 110% great for your game, if you ask the common consumer and there is a crowd of people, you will always get sides. That's how humans work. You will always get sides. Even if one side is idiotic, you will get sides. Because of how perspectives work. You will get sides. Hey, we should add WASD to our action RPGs. It should be an option. I think it'll just make it better. Common consumer. Hey, crowd of people. What do you guys think? I don't think you should. This is how it's always been. I think you should. Oh yeah? Well, I hate that guy, so let's fight. No, I don't like that guy, so I'm on this side. I think you shouldn't either. And I think you should get good. Oh, well, I think that it would just make it easier to play, and it has nothing to do with... Oh, but you will always get sides, right? You will always get sides. So it will not lead you to what you should do. Now, notice that we started adding WASD, and now it's not a conversation. Those people that were once mad are just okay with it now, right? They're not like, I'm not playing these games anymore, it has WASD. No one gives a shit. So notice how just doing the right thing is fine after. But if you bring it up for conversation in a weak conversation space, you will always have these little conversations and turn it into a bigger thing. I wonder what else we do that with. I hear the same small conversations about tutorializing, right? We have these small, oh, but yeah, tutorializing this, tutorializing that. It's the same as the WASD. We're having small conversations. And then they try to bring SD into it, the game doctor. And I said, I'm not even going to bother in this small conversation. It doesn't matter. That's like me involving myself into a conversation about WASD. We're not even supposed to be, why are we having this conversation, right? It doesn't matter, right? Just, we have to do the right thing for the right thing. And then this conversation wouldn't happen. So you're wasting time in this space. These are most dev circle conversations. I'm sorry to say. It's like that. There will always be sides and stuff. It doesn't matter. We could also just do the right thing. But when you bring this into a space where they don't have those conversations regardless of how they feel about it, you're going to have both sides. That's just how it works. So we got picking sides here. I do agree with the argument, flyers, this and that. I have a feeling a flyer starts starting around 5, blah, blah, blah. This post makes no sense. Here's another person saying, what the hell? The developer said one thing. And then this guy that's really good at the game and telling everybody the answer is saying, I don't quite get it. How are they causing trouble? A bit of background. Here's the prestige, right? Listen to me. I'm prestiged, right? I have the most hours, so listen to me. I wonder if they might even be a bug relating to them. It's not an issue. I mean, you place a tower. Here's another person saying there's issues now and jumping into conversation. Here's the person that started the conversation saying, it's really not that there are flyers. Flyers themselves are fine. So here is this huge conversation that started. So now other people want to get involved. A third party that never played the game also said, oh, since they're causing flyers a problem, now I have the mindset that flyers are bad, and I'm going to jump in and give my 2 cents. And now we have the original person that started all of this ripple effect and the viewpoint of flyers being bad, saying, and they never like necessarily said that, but they kind of did say that. They don't know how to articulate what they're saying, and I could see what they're trying to say. It's saying, bro, it's not the flyers. It's not necessarily the flyers. It's about how early they are. Just a few turns delay would change it completely. He's saying that there is a pressure here because of the flyers, and it's not allowing for replayability. It's saying that there is a correct way to play when they show up. Notice how this whole conversation can lead, and the developer can learn 5,000 wrong things here because everyone's rippling off each other. But the root of the conversation, the very root, is what they're trying to say is that sometimes with certain enemies, it feels early game that there is only one right way to play and that you just follow the lane. So what they could also be saying is, depending on your enemy identity, it might be forcing us to play a correct and exact way and not being open to freedom. And so then we have the other guy, all of a sudden it all makes sense. We have the other guy saying play this way, but you can see now that they're actually in agreement. You can actually see that they're in agreement. That one person is saying, hey, with enemy identity, the way it is right now and how they get introduced, I have to play a certain way and it's a problem. And we have another guy actually backing it and saying, you play this way. So if you know how to digest this, they're arguing about the same thing. This guy is confirming what the other guy is saying and saying, you play this way to beat it. And this guy's saying, yeah, you play one way to beat it. And notice that there's this ripple effect. One person's mad at the dev. The other one's saying flyers suck. The other one's saying, well, since you said flyers suck, now I think flyers suck, and here's the solution. And we're talking about solutions to flyers, and flyers are bad. And at the end of it all, we're not even saying flyers are bad. Do you see what's happening here? This is every day in every conversation. And these development teams and publishing teams think that the chaotic people fighting in the Wendy's line is somehow going to teach us design and where we need to go. Do you guys not see anything wrong with the industry and what we consider normal? Something is wrong and no one's calling it out except the game doctor, and I look crazy. I have proven that this is not effective and that there is a better way and better conversations for your time that can lead to more effective development time and a better release without the chaos of your community, without involving them in war. Because once you ask about WASD, yo, Peeling, what's up? I'm so sorry. I will jump into chat in a second. Once you ask and put the pressure on your community and say, hey, should we add WASD? And you're putting it to them, you're causing the chaos. Notice that. By doing that, by saying, it's like the scene with the Joker and saying, we're going to have tryouts. And he puts a weapon in the middle and says, sort it amongst yourselves, right? By you putting the fuel and fire in your community, you're causing the chaos because you're not doing your job to know what's right for your game. And that's what just broke into my mind from reading this. In a way, developers are causing the chaos in the community. I've never seen this before till right now. Holy crap. Because, and they didn't do this here, right, by the way, but by the culture of you help us, and anytime there is a question at hand, there's going to be two sides, which there could be just a right answer, but they're not trained to see that. Should we add WASD? Well, now there's a war. It's always not had it. You should add it. It'll just make it better. No, get good. You're trying to make it easier. They're all having different conversations in a war now, when if the developer just had the right conversations about design to know the right paths to go, they could have just taken it. And like WASD being in our action RPGs now, no one gives a shit. It's not a conversation. It doesn't matter. But now we caused the ripple effect and war for years about action RPGs and WASD. But notice how now it doesn't matter. It's not actually an important conversation, but we presented it as one, and now there's fighting and turmoil about it. That didn't need to be there. This is with tutorials as well. This is with a lot of our mechanics today. This is with Balatro adding a fucking calculator, right? There are conversations that should not even be happening if we just did the right thing and no one would be talking about it. Do you guys see that? We create these conversations to be heated debates that are just a wasted small conversation anyway. It's like somebody being in charge of running a city, right? They're in charge of running the city and they have the huge conversations coming up, and they're having a little conversation about being wasting 5 hours on what they're going to eat or where, or they have so much bigger things, right? So this is just a beautiful representation of this. This is a beautiful representation of this. And it's so cool that this person, I don't know who this is, manages to keep their cool the whole time and stay on topic the whole time with also a realization here. Listen, I think you guys are getting the wrong idea. It's not the Flyers, right? And remember, this is who started this thing saying the fun is, I'm losing the fun. Who they've been trying to say around the thing the whole time is that these things are taking the fun away. Now they're just quoting each other. What the fudge is happening? My bad, I was getting a reply. I think I understand your point better. So pushing them a bit towards the end of the first act would alleviate the feel of them being forced into a particular... Who is this? This is amazing. This is like an amazing civilian conversation. I've never seen this before. Amongst a bunch of turmoil and fighting and stuff, these two that start the conversation are coming together? Push them to wave 5 after 3 tiles placed and drafts, and when the first big step up in wave size occurs? Perhaps giving them a slightly different value so that they can show up a bit earlier so the player sees them but not in any significant number? Is maybe 7 to... All of a sudden they're coming together into this deeper understanding amongst the chaos, third parties, fourth parties, fifth parties, saying, wait a second, I'm going to put my prestige aside and that I'm good at the game and I know how this is played to understand where this guy is coming from and saying this newbie sucks. But what if he's not talking about sucking or how easy or hard it is? What if he's just talking about variety and not being forced into the correct path? And what if he goes deeper and says, what if there's not one solution here? What if it's not what everyone's saying and screw Flyers and just push them back? What if he's saying, yo, what if we just loosen the number of them so you can see them early, right? But they're just so easy to deal with. So you know the Flyers are coming because you just see a couple of them. Maybe even 7. Is 7 too early? Look at him questioning all of these things now. I'm so impressed. I am so impressed, dude. Wave 5 seems fine to me to allow for a little bit build up by player. So this person's still saying, no, just make them come later, have them pop in at a random wave later. Yo, Peelin! I am so sorry I've been ignoring you, chat. I just want to get through this real quick because this is huge and it's getting juicier. I didn't plan for this. It's just getting juicy. This is like the twist. It's the twist. I did not see this coming. This is exciting. A civilian conversation with actual depth here that no one would ever analyze the way we are, right? I'm giving you the director commentary. If the only solution is to early Flyers is just put weapons on headquarters, then it is not a solution. Yo, who's this 7th party that just jumped in off the ropes? If the only solution to Flyers is one answer, then it's not a solution. I think what they're trying to say is if there's only one answer, you're not coming up with an answer, right? I think it's what they're trying to say. Headquarters weapons become completely useless after the first few waves. The purpose of the game is to keep the enemies away from the headquarters. If the monsters get close enough, okay, blah, 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 blah. Early Flyers, is the game saying there are 600 supplies to start? Just kidding, there's only 200. Woo! We're cooking! We're all dancing around! We're all dancing around because the developers couldn't learn this. Because the developers couldn't learn this. We have a bunch of war, turmoil, conversations, people talking about their feelings, dancing around the same thing, all because we couldn't learn this ourselves. It's like early access of the Band-Aid for a developer saying, I'm not going to learn. Can you figure it out for me? I'm starting to learn that. It's like asking ChatGPT to make your game. Is early access to a developer. Can you just figure it out for me? Can you just figure something out? This is opening my mind. Early dude, he's saying that if this is the answer, you're giving me fake choice. What, you're not giving me 600 supplies, then if this is the answer that you guys are all saying, you're actually just giving me 200. It's fake choice. The square hole. Right. The square hole design, like most modern roguelikes. Wow, do you see how deep it goes? Do you see how everything is intertwined, all the design we talk about? There is an underlying design that affects all games, and we just copy it, and we copy it. But if we can understand the roots and game doctor pillars, look how it affects everything. They're all intertwined. This is what I figured out and why I'm losing it. This is why I'm shouting off the top of the roof. Because I figured out solutions to multiple problems through fundamentals. We call these fundamentals, right? But this is amazing. This person is onto something, right? They're all onto something, right? But amongst chaos and random conversation, which is almost impossible. I have a hard enough time talking on a call with more than 2 people because there's so much other micro conversation that's not even getting to a core. Right? And so for these people, these two, to just ignore everything and come back here, it's just amazing. You don't need weapons at headquarters. We have been outlining different ways to do this. However, your headquarters weapons specifically in the blue function are not useless late game. Another thing that I might not explain, and now I know is different than in other tower defenses. You don't get rewards for killing enemies. Okay? Flyers always seem to be the best. This guy just giving his personal feelings. I've played a lot of games and I always hate flyers. Again, just what I've eaten so far. Fries are bad because every fry I had so far from these places suck. So fries are bad, right? Maps are bad in action RPGs, so they're just bad, right? Here's somebody just giving their feelings, their trauma, right? This is completely normal. Right? This is the well. This is us losing our design in the well, and this is what most developers develop into. The well. Early game flyers are bullshit. Here's this random person. He just wants to say how his feelings are. I love this. I'll be honest, I played one round of the demo, got eaten, and now he's backing his feelings because he lost the flyer, so he has trauma. Got eaten alive by flyers, so I came to complain, right? He lost the flyers, right? These enemies are bad game design. Oh my god, let's hear this. Woo! These enemies are bad game design. So now they're all dancing around different problems, and I cannot wait to see what the dev does. So I'm expecting patch notes that say, nah, flyers nerfed and moved back. Like he doesn't see the actual problem, right? This is so funny. And remember, they just had that one comment in the beginning is so funny. They reduced player choice. This is okay. They reduced player choice, but which is also remember what other people are saying. Well, what the guy's trying to say, which is how the conversation started. Maze placement becomes highly dependent on deliberately not routing in such a way that the flyers fall outside of your AA range. If you make a mistake, they overwhelm your fortress. It's not even instant. You can gamble a few turns and hope. So there's all of them seem to be dancing around the fact that they don't have information of when these flyers are coming and don't have time to prepare for it because they're getting blindsided. Information. There is an extremely high stakes problem, accidentally routing your maze so that the flyers fall, again, accidentally, because they feel they don't have the information, right? So they are accidentally, sorry, surprise, RNG, right? Outside your AA coverage means that you're in a short timer of death, perfect play, and you die, or you die. Perfect play or you die. This also sounds like Ascension 20 Slay the Spire. That's not why most people play this style of tower defense game. I'm going to go back, but that's also what they do. I'm not complaining. That's what they do best. I'm going to go back and play a second round of the demo, but honestly, I don't see myself. Again, these people are setting each other up to notice. Hey, if I tell you, hey, make sure you hate these guys, or hey, that guy's a dick, when you go talk to that guy and meet him for the first time, you're going to see everything as if he's a dick, right? Things are going to show up weird. But honestly, I don't see myself coming back to this game. So they're all putting a filter on each other. Very interesting, right? So notice everything that's just happened here. This is our normal, this was one small little minute conversation and dancing all around problems because the developer can't learn and we're asking for their opinions. When you ask for opinions, you're going to get all sides, right? This is so cool. But I want to remind you that while everyone else is pissed and having different conversations, these two, with how it started, a beautiful, beautiful thing happened where the whole time they're speaking 2 different languages and complaining about 2 different things, but underlying that, they're agreeing on the same thing, but didn't see it. right? They're also secretly agreeing. This guy's giving solution-minded. This guy's giving feelings. This guy's saying, I want variety. This guy is saying, just do this. And they're secretly saying the same thing. And out of nowhere, the beauty here amongst chaos and this guy saying, I hate the dev, amongst all of this, he comes back and says, you know what? I'm starting to see your point. And starts giving all these solutions to the fact that this guy is not looking for answers on how to beat it. What he's trying to communicate is that it feels weak. Because if there's only one solution, it doesn't feel like I'm playing the game. I feel like I'm just plugging in the answers. And then another person accidentally also says that if there's just one solution, it's not actually the solution. We're just playing it, right? We're just playing the game. We're not coming up with a solution if only the square fits in the square hole. We're just finding the answer here. We're not like coming up with a solution. Do you guys see how cool this is? It's like, yeah, a bunch of, I stopped this kind of stuff a long time ago. But this is so beautiful. And somehow this guy beautifully, this is not normal, by the way. Normally this would evolve in chaos and them saying they're both idiots and one, because they're both not listening to each other. They're both talking about different things. But the fact that amongst all this chaos and chatter, these two come together in a way is so beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for these random civilians. Holy fudge, dude.